joining me this week is the Commander-in-Chief of the Assyrian Army, Emmanuel Khoshaba Youkhana. Commander, how is my pronunciation before we start?
It's good, it's good.
You say your name, though, so it actually comes off the tongue correctly.
You want me to say it in Assyrian?
I want you to say it in Assyrian.
Emmanuel Khoshaba Youkhana.
See, that has a nice rhythm to it. I gave it an American something. It's the K and the H get crossed up. All right, well, I'm thrilled that you're here, and I'm honored that you're here, because your people, the Assyrian people, are going through something truly horrific right now, and the world seemingly has no idea. So I thought the best place we could start off is, who are the Assyrian people?
At first, thank you, Rubin, for having me in your program. And the Assyrian people are the indigenous, oldest people in the Middle East. They belong to the ancient Assyria, Babylon, Nineveh, Ur, and they live in that area and establish, and given the humanity, the civilization. At that time, they've been a very creative people, and they push the humanity to the and they give them the science, the everything. It's belong to the ancient, and until now. They find the archaeological different things from their science, they are. Yeah. Or that they have, the only people they have in their name science is Assyriology. And Jesus Christ talk their language too.
So the Assyrian people, are Christian denomination, correct?
Yeah, they've been the first people became Christian in that area, and they took the Christianity until China and different area and countries.
Yeah, and it was once a civilization that numbered in the millions, I think, right? And now about how there are a few 100,000 Assyrians.
Yeah, actually in Iraq we are a few 100,000, but in around the world they have more than 5-6 million people, but around the world.
Yeah, so I always say on the show that, in America, our news does such a terrible job about showing really what's going on in other parts of the world and helping us understand what other people are going through. We just don't talk about it, especially on cable news. So when you're talking about where the Assyrians live, so basically in parts of Iraq is where most of the community is, but then there are some people in Syria, right? And then there's, I guess there's some people in Turkey, but the bulk of it, of the population is in Iraq.
Yeah, before Iraq it was Mesopotamia.
Yeah,
the main state that Assyrian are lived there, and Mesopotamia was a part of that from Syria, and part from Turkey, and part from Iran. Before the border, and the border came, the state came, so. The Assyrian people are divided between those countries.
Right.
But most of them, they are in Iraq.
Right. So the cause of the Assyrian people has gotten much more dire, really, in the last couple of years because of ISIS. But before we get into that, what was it like living as an ethnic and religious minority under Saddam Hussein?
There are no difference between Saddam Hussein or the new regime they came to Iraq since 2003. Saddam Hussein put a prosecute in a different way on Assyrian people. Now we are facing fanatic religions thinking that they are put another pressure on people, but there are no difference between Saddam and they live in the same thing. The immigration of our people began when Saddam or Ba'ath regime come to rule Iraq.
So. Right. So before the Saddam regime, those were the good old days, so to speak. I mean, things were okay then, right? Relatively speaking.
You think that it's okay. Everybody think that Saddam at that time was okay to live in Iraq, but actually no. Saddam was a dictatorship, and nobody can live in peace with the dictatorship.
Yeah. So flash forward to what's happening now. We're watching. I mean, Syria, by every estimation, isn't really a sovereign nation anymore. It's I don't even know what to call it. I mean, it's just we're watching it kind of crumble. So what's the situation for the Assyrians right this very moment?
Actually, Rubin, we are fighting our last battle to survive, to be in our homeland. This is what we are doing, and we want the world to watch and to reach and to hear our message that the Assyrian Christian people need help to stay in their land. They don't want to immigrate to any other country. Let them stay in their land, but it's very difficult to say in words, but this is what we are facing.
Yeah,
now.
So the Assyrian people don't necessarily want to carve out their own state, but want to live peacefully under whatever state there is, whether it's Iraq or Syria, right? Is the goal ultimately an Assyrian state? Not necessarily, from what we were talking about earlier.
No, actually they want to live in their land. Now let's take an example. They've been in every city in Iraq, but since 2003 they've been targeting in organized targeting. They fleeted from every major city. We have Nineveh Plain, and that area belongs to our Assyrian Christian people. So now we are called for to be at least a governor or safe haven to those people. But actually, the countries or the decision maker of the countries, they push us to be a part of the problem between KRG or Baghdad.
Right.
They told us, in fact, you want to be a part of Iraq, so go with Baghdad, or you want to be with KRG, so go with KRG. And this is, they know that there are problems between two of them, and they push us to be a part of the problem, not to be a part of the solution.
Right. So when you're talking about the KRG, so that's the Kurdish regional government, which is part of Iraq technically.
Yeah, they are
right
part
now.
of Iraq now.
Yeah, but basically you're caught between those two forces, right? That's the issue?
The issue is between three big political forces. So Arab Sunni, Shia Sunni, Arab Sunni, Arab Shia, and Kurdish.
Yeah. So when we were talking before, you were telling me a little bit something that surprised me, which was how much of this really is a religious problem, because I think here we think that everything, it's hard to tell half the time. Depending on who you're talking to, everything's either a religious problem or it's a land problem. But you're saying this really is a religious problem, that in effect the Muslim majority does not want Christians to live there anymore.
Yeah,
is that fair to say?
Yeah, they don't want to see a non-Muslim, Robin. We lose the Jewish in Iraq in 50s, so now we are losing the Christianity in 2000 and above. So this is it belongs to the mentality of the people. They are now they don't think that you are from the same country and you share this country with your brother. What different is his religion? It's not matter. It's matter of you are from this country. So this is the situation. It's belong to the mentality, and you see the mentality of the all Middle East, and Before ISIS or after ISIS? Before ISIS, they've been Al Qaeda. Now we are show in each time they came more fanatic Islam, more fanatic. So this is the situation. This is what we are facing here.
Yeah, is there any future really for Christianity in the Middle East? I mean, this has been going on for a long time. Even if we look at what's happened to the Coptic Christians in Egypt, who are pretty much gone. Obviously, all these countries, all their Jews are gone. Is there real hope here that this can be turned back, or that a safe haven could actually be found?
If we get the safe haven, Rubin, that there will be a hope and future. We want to build a future by our own hand. Not, the future cannot be built by others to us.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about what you're doing. People say, well, wait, you're the commander-in-chief of the Assyrian Army. What are you doing in Los Angeles in a sharp suit? What are you actually doing here right now, and what are you trying to accomplish?
Actually, we are... after we established our Khoshaba Assyrian Army, Khoshaba means the sacrificer in Aramaic language, in Assyrian Aramaic language.
Yeah. I should know this, I'm sure, but is the language of the Assyrian people Aramaic?
It's the same. They call it Aramaic, but it's Assyrian.
Yeah.
It's belong to the Assyrian. So when we established after 3 days to 4 days after Daesh occupied our land in Nineveh Plain, and we established in field. When the other peoples was fleeted from the fight, we pick up the arms and go to fight the ISIS.
Wait, let me pause you there. So just to be clear, so when the Iraqi army basically abandoned their equipment, which we gave them, you guys were able to take that equipment.
That was in June 2014, and Daesh occupied Nineveh Plain after 1 month after that. It was in August 2014.
Yeah. So are you fighting ISIS? We know that they're using American weapons sometimes too, because the Iraqi army, we see videos of this all the time, Iraqi army abandoned stuff. So are you guys both using the same weapons that we gave to the Iraqi?
Actually, we didn't get. We buy weapon from the market and we go to fight ISIS. ISIS took the weapon from the Iraqi army, and we buy from the market. We buy the weapon, but it was a simple weapon. It was not heavy weapons. We don't have heavy weapons to fight ISIS. But just we. In that way, Rubin, we want to give a message to the people, at least to our people at first, that they run away from the country or immigrate from the country. Their soul was broken after what they faced in the Nineveh Plain. So we want to build that soul again, that we can fight those terrorists if we have the support from the country. We are, as a Christian, our situation was the situation of the Middle East in 1930. If you back to the history in 1930s, our situation, Assyrian situation, was the first situation in the Middle East. So we want to give that message to our people, to our neighbors from Kurds, Arabs, and others, and to the coalition force and to the countries, that if they support us, we can go back and fight and retook our land and kick out the Daesh from our land.
Right. So what is the larger world, the Christian community of the world? Are they facilitating arms to you guys? You just don't hear anything about this.
Actually, we don't ask about to support us, and we ask to support our families. The fighter, when he go to fight, at least he will think that his family is living in a good condition and a dignity, and they are not in need. So what we call this is for this, support our families. And this is what we say to the state of the Department of State before months ago. We say to them that we are not here to come to ask for money. Help our families, support us with training, and give us weapons as a government, and we can fight ISIS.
So in effect, you guys are asking for the same support that we're giving the Kurds, basically. Is that
in both ways? The situation, Rubin, is in two situations. One part of that is a humanitarian situation, and the other part is a security situation. Security situation is belong to how to be that area, Nineveh Plain, secure. So you have a political steps, and you have a military steps.
Yeah. How big of an area are we talking about? And again, this is in Iraq.
It's belong. Maybe they are more than 5,000 square kilometer area, and they have. And it's rich with power, oil, agriculture, and everything.
Yeah. So, okay, so you want them to train. You'd like, if you wanted the outside world to help, the help that you're looking for is sort of training, help with the general security.
We want the world to help us and to support us in the way that support our political demand, and to help our families, support our families, not let them to in need, and we can go and fight.
Yeah. So is the problem really, though, that if this is religious in nature, not truly about territory, if ultimately whether you had 500 square kilometers or 5,000 square kilometers, or whether you had 5 square kilometers, ultimately that's irrelevant if this is really a religious conflict, right? So how does this get resolved in a way, even if the Assyrian people want it resolved, if the radical Islamists don't want it resolved, there's almost no resolution here.
For that, we are asking to help. That the people, if they don't feel they are insecure or they trust they can build their future, no one can stay there, Rubin. The situation is that area belongs to the people, and the majority of that area belong to the non-Muslim people. So, and there are a decision from the United States, but it is just talking about something on the paper. They are not running after how to those indigenous people. They face genocide. They face genocide like Yazidis and Christian people. So how we can help them to stay in their land? So,
yeah. So the United States, I assume you have a bit of a complex relationship with the United States, because on one hand, as you said, things weren't great under Saddam. On the other hand, post-Saddam, it was better for a little while, right? Was there like a little window of a year or two where there were some freer elections, where it was actually safer to be an ethnic minority in Iraq?
Saddam Hussein prosecute our people in ethnic way. You cannot say that you are Assyrian. You can say you are Christian, but Arab Christian. You cannot say that you are Assyrian Christian. So this is what the situation under Saddam regime.
What was the thinking there? I mean,
everything is belong to Arab.
Yeah.
The same thing what they face, non-Arab people in the Iraq. You know, most of the Arab countries are non-Arab. It's the Arabization.
Right, they were non-Arab originally. Then through colonialism, they became Arab.
Yeah. So this is what was in Saddam regime.
Yeah, but were things better for when the Iraqi government, when we were still there and they were having elections, were things better as a minority there for a little bit?
No.
Before the rise of ISIS, basically.
No,
So even at that time.
both of them. I told you about that. Both of them are the same thing, but in a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And it's the important thing that the religion thing began from Saddam in 1997, as I think. Yeah, he became that they call it religion campaign, or Hamla al-Imaniya in Arabic. It was 1997, so they began from that.
right.
Yeah.
So you guys, so basically you need weapons, but you need awareness and some level of funds, I assume. Who are your greatest allies at the moment?
Actually, the people who believe in us, and we have an organization, United Assyrian Appeal, that help our families, and we have different friends like you, Rubin. We have Bradley. He helped us in a different way. So we have people that help us and believe in us. So.
Yeah. I know we could talk about the security situation forever, and we could go back forever too. And every time you go back in the Middle East, you just go back to some other conflict and some other conflict and something else. So let's talk about the Assyrian people as a people. If I went back there with you when you're here for about a week, if I went there with you, what would it be like? What would the people be like? The foods they're eating? How would it be different than the other Iraqi culture? That kind of thing. Give me a sense of what the people are like.
Actually, those people are now in need. In their land, they have everything when they are in their cities, so now they are living in the help of other peoples. So from one side, that family, they have everything in their life, and just in one night they lose everything in their life. So if you came, you will see the same people that they are generous, they are people want to live in peace. But the bad situation, the political situation, they don't let us live in peace.
Yeah, and the holidays they're celebrating, it's a denomination of Christianity, but they're celebrating all the Christian holidays.
Christian holidays, Easter, Christmas, and we have monasteries that built 1,000 years ago. Everything we will see that.
Yeah. So I guess ultimately,
and they have different culture from the others.
Yeah. So can you tell me about that? Yeah. What's the culture difference?
More openly, their culture belong to 7,000 years in the deep of the history. So they are more generous. They are creative people. They live in peace. Even if you ask now anyone from Iraq, what do you think about the Christian? He will say he is good people and live in peace. They don't have any problems with anyone. So this is what it's different from the other people in Iraq.
Yeah. What else can I do to help the cause beyond get the information out there? I mean, because that seems to me, you hear Assyrian, people think Syria. You know what I mean? Just the name in itself people just, it's so much to take in.
Syria became from Assyrian, because Syria is the smaller of Assyrian in our language. Mm-hmm. So Assyrian people is different. Syria is a state. That Al-Assad regime that he rule now, but Assyrian people belong to the Assyrian Empire and the civilization, Assyrian civilization.
Yeah. So is that really, and this has been a through line when I've talked to people from other countries, but especially from the Middle East, that because it's so hard to understand truly that, the Ottoman Empire ran everything for hundreds of years, and then the British Empire took over for whatever it was, 50 years, and then since basically 40, whatever, that it's been split up in so many different ways. There's just it's just very hard to get a hold on the good guys and the bad guys, and then you throw religion into it. It's just a big mess, and all you're trying to fight for is your ability to survive. Is that the end takeaway?
Actually, we are fight for our people. You imagine, Rubin, everything happened since 300 years before until now in the Middle East. They've been targeting our people, our Assyrian people.
Yeah.
From the Ottoman, when they fight the Persian Empire, then the Ottoman they fight, then in the World War I and World War II, and until now, we are paid. For that, we became the minorities. We've been the majority of the people there.
Yeah. And it is just possible that the Middle East will not tolerate minorities anymore, right? I mean, as depressing as that is.
I hope that's not happening, Rubin, but in fact, and actually it's going on if we don't help the minorities to stay there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's so much more we could talk about, but I know we have some limited time here. But good luck on your venture here to get some awareness. I hope we did a little bit of that. We're going to put some links down below so that people will be able to find out more about you and what the Assyrian Army is doing. And I thank you guys for watching, and we'll do it again next week.